Hey everyone, doing another tent review today. This time it's of the big Agnes Copper Spur HV2 Expedition. If you watch our channel a bit, you've seen us using this tent a lot and you already know that I like it, but I'm going to be doing an in-depth review today and showing you some of the finer details of the tent and talking about why I think it might possibly be the best tent for backpacking in New Zealand. Setup of the tent is super easy, color coded, which is nice. So it's got red at the head end and grey at the foot, which matches the poles, so you can just instantly know that you're setting it up the right way. These are DAC aluminum poles, and they're all connected by the central hub, which is actually quite nice, so you don't have to fluff around with different pole sections. They're also quite thick, a large diameter pole compared to like the Cedar Summit tent or the Nemo tent. I think these are 9.8 diameters. It's quite a bit more structure to the tent. There's nice chunky rivets for the poles to just clip into at each corner of the tent, so they just go on like that, then it just clips on. This is the second bit of pole structure, which sits on the top, and there's a little plastic toggle thing which it clips onto on either side, which helps spread out the top of the tent for more internal volume. This tent comes with 10 big stakes like this. They're a bit hefty and they weigh a bit, but they're good. You can fit them into wet ground, and they also do pretty good in snow. So it's kind of befitting of the fact that it's a 3+ season tent, and it's also good for a lot of New Zealand conditions where you're pitching on tussocks and you actually need some extra grip. You can see here that you've got these nice big loops to grab, so if it's really cold outside and you're pitching the tent with gloves, you got these nice easy loop, put your finger on and open and close. Same as where you're putting the stakes, and everything's nicely oversized and big loops. It's kind of designed so if you're setting it up with gloves, everything's easy to operate. The inner tent, it all pitches really nice and really taut, so you've got absolutely no sagging at all, and if any moisture hits the inner tent dripping off the fly and condensation, it can just run off the roof and down the sides without getting you wet on the inside. So another cool feature of this tent, which makes it so versatile, which I think is another reason why it's a great all-in-one backpacking tent, is you've got these big areas for ventilation. You got one here, either side of the door. These can be zipped for a big air vent, or zipped right up to close in all the warmth. There's also heaps of interior pockets. So you've got pocket up here, pocket up here. You've got big pockets down here and here on each side, and down that end of the tent you got pockets at the foot, and you got more pockets there. Loop for hanging little lights, washing lines. The fly attaches to the floor with these little clips, so they clip in there. They can be tensioned up on each side. I was a little bit skeptical at first about these clips. I thought maybe they'd break, but when you're actually using them, it's a super good system, super easy to set up and keep the fly nice and tight. The fly's got a little pocket in here which you can pull out, again a big loop which is easy to grab, that fits onto the crossbar and it goes down like that. So as you can see with the fly on, there's heaps of guy up points, and you got these nice big robust Dyneema guy lines which have 2 points of contact to the tent body, come out to this middle loop and then pull right out with the tensioners. The fly on the tent is a polyester ripstop, and Big Agnes claimed that it's specially engineered and it's got about 25% more resistance to tearing and sagging than traditional polyester fabrics. I can say that the conditions that we've had it in, it doesn't sag really at all when it's wet. It stays really nice and taut like this the whole time, so that's a nice feature to have. The fly's got a 1,200mm hydrostatic head rating. It might seem a little bit low, but in my experience we've had it in heavy rain conditions and heavy snow. Absolutely no leaking at all from the tent. You can see everything's really nicely built, all double stitched for extra strength. Even here you can see overlapping stitching, make sure it's strong. Double stitching here, the fabric's folded back and stitched on itself. Got Velcro tabs here on your storm flat. Here's the air vent at the back, which can be opened up with this little bar, or you can take the Velcro off and fully close it down like this for storm conditions. See inside the tent, there's a tapered floor design. It's 132 centimeters at the head end and 107 at the foot end, and the total length of the tent is 224 centimeters long. With these dimensions, the tent's easily big enough to fit my long wide Cedar Summit pad and Victoria's female version of the Cedar Summit Ethelite XT. So 2 pads fit into the tent easily, and comfortably. 2 big vestibules and 2 doors either side, which makes living in the tent if conditions are bad quite nice. Also can store your gear easily, and you got lots of headroom with the nice pole design to get in and out of the tent. All up, the tent weighs 2.4 kgs. That's with 10 stakes, the poles and the inner and the fly. So it's a pretty lightweight for how strong the tent is. We've had it in some pretty strong winds, and it's fully robust. Like you can see here, like it's a strong tent when it's all pitched out, especially with those big guy lines fully extended out and pegged in with them big stakes. Gives it a lot of rigidity. Big Agnes do sell a footprint for the tent, which weighs an additional 200 grams, and that allows you to pitch fly first. So it's got rivets. You put the poles into those rivets, and you can put the fly over the top, then clip on the inner later. Tent's got a bathtub floor design, 10,000mm hydrostatic head. So it's quite a robust, strong bathtub. Never had any issues with water leaking through. There is a seam tape in the middle, which is not really ideal, but haven't had any issues at all. The tent comes fully seam taped, and all the stitching and seam taping looks perfectly good. Haven't had any issues at all in heavy rain. All the fabric's cut perfectly, and there's not really a single stitch out of place. So the build quality on this tent, I'd say it's 10 out of 10. I think it's better than my Cedar Summit or the Nemo, really. It's perfect build quality, really. What I like most about the tent is how strong it is and how versatile it is for its weight. At 2.4 kgs, it's easy enough for one person to take by themselves, but if you're splitting that between 2 people, which you probably would be if you're taking this tent, it's actually a really lightweight option for how strong it is in bad conditions. One of the downsides, or you might consider it an upside, is the fly doesn't go completely to the ground. So that's kind of why it wouldn't be considered a 4-season tent. We have had it in some pretty heavy snow conditions, and as it builds up, it kind of pushes the fly and it can come in under the outer fly. So something to consider, it's not truly 4-season because the fly doesn't go directly to the ground. This is me fully sitting up in the tent. So you can see I've got lots of headroom, heaps of room side to side. Really spacious with that crossbar. You've almost got vertical walls on the sides. The ends slope a bit, but no issues with that. So the size of the tent is excellent for 2 people. So overall, I'd say the tent's excellent for New Zealand conditions because you've got that nice 10,000 hydrostatic head floor, which keeps out all the moisture. You've also got a lot of robustness with wind, with all the guy up points and the big stakes. You've got a reasonable weight to split between 2 people or even 1 person, really. And probably the best thing of all that makes this tent so versatile is the ventilation options. The fact that you can open up that big vent behind me or the doors to allow airflow, or zip them right up and fully enclose yourself. Kind of means that you can use the tent in summer and still not get too hot inside of it. Whereas if you're buying like a full 4-season tent, you can't have those options really, and you're just going to roast inside. I bought the tent for about $1,100 from the gear shop, and I'd say it's a good price for what you get. There are cheaper tents obviously, and there are some tents that are more expensive. Value for money is good, overall performance is great, versatility 10 out of 10, and I'd probably say it's my favorite piece of gear. If it broke, I would definitely buy another one. If you're in the market for a new tent, I would highly recommend this tent, mainly because it's versatile, strength to weight ratio, build quality and price. It just represents great value. I've had it for almost 2 years, and I hope to have it for many more years and get many more good trips out of it. So if you want to see more of the tent in action, go onto the channel and look at some of our videos. We've got it in snow and rain and lots of harsh conditions, and also fine summery conditions. So yeah, if you like the video and it's helpful, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and yeah, thanks for watching.